How do you find the right boat? Well, there's a lot of factors that go into that question. But recently, I was able to sit down with Dr. Joseph Feldman, a new 31 owner, and here's what he shared with me about his experience. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. I'm here with Dr. Joseph Feldman on his 31, and today I'm going to talk to him a little bit about his experience buying a boat. Maybe he'll give us some good things that'll help you out. Joe, I appreciate you spending time with us today, first of all. Tell me, how many boats have you owned?
Oh, this is probably my 11th boat.
How many regulators out of all those boats have you owned?
3 personally and 2 others that I've been involved in.
Now, tell me, give me the range from the smallest boat you've owned to the biggest boat that you've owned so far.
The smallest boat that I've owned is a 23 Regulator, and the largest is a 48 Viking.
Okay, so we got a big range there. Where have you done most of your business?
All of my business, except for the Viking, was done at Comstock in Brick, New Jersey.
And when you did the Viking, did you go directly with the Viking? You have a broker, new used boat? How was that?
I bought a boat that was used, but there was no broker involved. I kind of fell into it, and it was a deal I couldn't refuse.
All right, perfect. So what I want to do today is there's some people out there that's in this process of buying a boat. You've been through this process. Tell me, when you first found out about Regulator, you made that first thing of that Regulator, the 23, the first one you did. How did you get this? How did you discover the brand? How did you get started and make that decision? I'm going to buy that boat.
Well, I had purchased other boats. I liked in those days to do bay fishing, a little inshore fishing, and the boat that I was in at the time just didn't feel as sturdy as I wanted it and as solid as I wanted it. So I spoke to Comstock that I had purchased the previous boat, and they showed me the 23, and I thought it was a good fit at the time, and it did its job for the years that I had it.
All right. And so when you looked at the Regulator versus the other boat, solid, what else? When you went and rode it, let me ask this question. Did you buy the boat before you rode it or after you rode it?
No, I demoed the boat before I bought it, and Regulator just stands so far and above all these other boats, from fit and finish, from the solid feeling of the boat, from having that factory behind you for any kind of questions or warranty work. And I just felt very comfortable dealing with the dealer that I've dealt with on so many other boats because I know that they're there for anything that I need.
Now, after you bought several, you got to the one that you have right now. This is a 2023 31 that we're sitting on. When you were really seriously considering this boat, did you consider any other brands at that point?
Not one.
Not one. How about even the boats before that? When was the last time you really started weighing this brand versus that brand?
Oh, it's been a long time. When it comes to the center console market, I would not look at another boat. Up here in the Northeast, these boats will take you out there and bring you home safe, and that's what it's all about.
All right. Now, if one of your buddies around you here at the one of these houses close by came to you and is thinking about buying a center console, what would you tell them about your boat, about Regulator? What advice would you give them about the decision they're about to make?
Well, I would ask them to come on the boat, and I would point out little subtle things that only someone who has owned many boats and has been through this would know. Just for instance, the no screw rod holders. Underneath the hardtop, you don't see any hardware coming through. It's all mounted from above. The way the hardtop is made, the fit and finish of the boat, all of the lids and inside are finished in the boat. I could go on for hours because these boats are so far and above all the other manufacturers that to me it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Here, I want to tell you from a Regulator standpoint about where we fit on the spectrum, then ask your opinion on that. One end of the spectrum is the very super hardcore fisherman. The boat is designed to do nothing but fish, head offshore and fish hard. The other end of the spectrum is that sandbar boat. It's designed to cheese and wine cruise, go hang out at the sandbar, do that. Regulator purposely tries to stay in the middle. We purposely try to design our boats where they're capable of going offshore and hardcore fishing, yet going to the sandbar too. And sometimes you have to compromise on both ends of that spectrum that way. How does this boat fit that mold for you and your family?
It fits that mold 100%. I have the rear facing shade, I have the rear seats, we have the dive door with multiple entry and exit options. The head is huge, 6 foot plus headroom down there. It holds as much gear as you want to put on it. And at anchor or at a sandbar or just sitting, you put the Seakeeper on and no one's going to get sick. When I was making the decision to buy this boat, I wanted to buy a boat that would give me the most options for pleasure and hardcore offshore fishing. Since my family likes to come on boat rides and my wife is not a big fisherman, so I wanted rear-facing seats. I wanted the most amount of seating up front. I wanted the Seakeeper because my family does have a history of getting seasick, and there are not a lot of boats out there in this size range that gives you these options that you can add to your boat. And you know, the other thing is the Regulator, it's called a 31, but it's really like 36 feet overall. So when you ride this boat, you know the difference right away.
Let's talk real quick, because sometimes people ask about resale value, and that's one of the advantages of a Regulator. You've resold a couple of boats, Regulators, you had a few. How did you do in those? How was the resale value in your eyes whenever you decided to move up to a different boat?
Well, that's another reason to consider a Regulator, because Regulators hold their value. I bought a 2008 26 Regulator, and in 2019 I sold it for more than I paid for it in 2008. And I don't think a lot of people can say that about boats.
Very true. And your 31 you had before this, how did you end up doing in that boat?
Well, we turned that boat into the 34.
Okay.
So we did very well with that boat as well.
Let's go back to advice you may give to a neighbor if they're thinking of a boat. That neighbor comes to you, rides your boat, they see the fit and finish, they do that. They go, man, I'm going to buy a Regular, and they're going to walk off to go see Chip at Comstock or wherever you direct them to do or whatever. What advice would you give them on negotiating and what the final thing that they're going to have to do before they walk out of the door?
Well, negotiating is a personal thing. It all depends on interest rates and everything else today, the way that things are. But the one thing that I would tell them, if they're really serious, to go up there and sit down and talk to them and go through every option. Maybe some options might be more discountable than other options. And I would say you definitely need to go to the factory and see the way that these boats are put together, because that is going to show you everything you need to know.
And Joe, I had the opportunity to give you a tour of the factory. You came in down and toured the factory, and we give factory tours all the time. Share with me your experience. What did you learn there that you didn't know even being an owner before you came?
Well, it's good to see how the boats are put together, and you know, all the different fittings that go into it, and where everything that's drilled into this boat, there's a special material that's inside the fiberglass. That to me was very intriguing and interesting. Meeting all the people that work for Regulator, I just find that everybody is just so into their jobs and so happy that they have such a great product to build and be a part of. And it was a fabulous day. I really enjoyed it, and I plan on coming back.
Joe, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you for being a customer, and thank you for coming to Regulator. I hope you come back again. And if you're watching this, I hope you listen to some of this advice that Joe shared. And if you want a boat, go see your local dealer.